Okay, so I did a live video in Herb Club, and I see that my internet was so bad that it just cut out whole sections of the video. So I'm just gonna do it, and hopefully this will upload overnight in a somewhat timely fashion. I've got really poor internet quality in the summertime because where I live, there's so many trees and the leaves, and they can't get me anything better, they said. So that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about tincturing, okay? Alcohol and non-alcohol tinctures, okay? And I'm using this book. This was based on a question that was posted a couple weeks ago. I meant to do the video a couple weeks ago, but I was sick right before my company came and we went on holidays. So I'm getting around to it. And I should preface by saying that I grew up in a house with a lot of alcohol, so I generally just tend to avoid it altogether. So I'm going to give you the tincturing 101 that I know. If you are really interested in tincturing and you want to deep dive on it, then I encourage you to seek out other herbalists who are also really into tincturing and all the and more past the basics, okay? But I will teach you what I know from my schooling and from my apprenticeship, okay? And I'll give you some resources you can look to so that you can at least get started on your own, okay? Okay, so I'm using this book, The Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook by James Green, okay? And this book is really thorough. I feel like it's recommended by a lot of herbalists. It's quite a thick book. It's very practical and enjoyable, I think. Okay, so these are the types of medicines he covers, okay? He's got infusion, which really means tea. Might be a long infusion. Decoction, which is a simmer on the stove, a long slow simmer, 45 minutes to 2 hours, or as I imagine in the old days, maybe in cold climates like wood stove, you've got a pot on a wood stove and you're just tossing things in there, and they just, are heated for a couple days at a time, okay? Distillation of hydrosols. When you are distilling plants, specifically aromatic plants, there's this aromatic water that comes off, and like rose water, okay? Rose water is kind of a hydrosol. But basically any plant that you might make an essential oil out of, when you extract that essential oil, there's going to be all this hydrosol, this aromatic waters that come off, okay? Although people make hydrosols without any intention of getting essential oils as well, okay? Flower essences, which is not extracting any physical constituents from the plant, but it's kind of like working with the spirit of the plant, okay? And this would be primarily for kind of like the emotional, psychological help, I guess you'd say, which some people might downplay the importance of that, but we're very emotional beings, and in the modern times that we live in, I feel like we need all the help we can get that isn't so pharmaceutical and really manipulative, right? We have some really strong manipulations that happen living in this modern world. Okay, tincturing by maceration, which means like blending or like macerating the plant material, okay? Which is a longer method. Usually you macerate the material and you let it sit for 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks, okay, in the alcohol. There's also tincturing by percolation, which is powdering it really finely and basically percolating the alcohol through, okay? And the idea is that you would extract because it's ground so finely, as the alcohol passes through in a slow fashion, a few hours, okay? It would pick up all that alcohol soluble components. So then your tincture would be ready by the next day or the day after, okay? Wine infusion, okay? Which I've never done. Vinegar infusion. Glycerin, which is vegetable glycerin. Okay, so this is a non-alcoholic way of tincturing. Oil infusion. Ointment, salves and balms. Lotions and creams. Suppositories and boluses. Boluses are for, everyone knows suppository. Boluses are for vaginal insertion. Okay. Lotions and creams. Herb jellos. Syrups, honeys, oxymels, which is honey and vinegar, and electuaries. I'm not actually sure what electuaries are. I should just quickly look it up. Although you guys are welcome to get this book. Let me just see here. Syrups. Sorry, I'm segueing. Just sometimes you need to know what something is. Electuaries, confection or conserve. Finely powdered herb with honey or fruit pulp, creating a sweetened and flavored mass that can be molded into portions about the size of a marble. Oh, okay, so these are like little herb balls. Okay, mystery solved. Okay, baths for water therapy, and baths are definitely one of the things that I enjoy most about herbal medicine. Poultices and fomentation, which is like plant medicine applied, actual plant material applied topically. Okay, yeah. So this book has a lot of it. Okay, and I chose this book because most of these books have these tables, okay, that tell you, because the question was, what's the best alcohol to pick? And our choices are usually in Canada, our choices are usually a 40% alcohol or 95% alcohol. And so, I just wanted to share that you can use these charts, okay? I'm going to use a plant that's local. I'm going to talk about burdock, okay? And there's, this table tells you the plant part. So it says you can use fresh root, dry root, or seed. It tells you the weight to volume, okay? So for fresh root, and this is weight of plant material to weight of the liquid. So you'll need a scale, okay, to measure your weights when you're tincturing, okay? And it says for a fresh root, 100% alcohol, okay? Because it'll already have some water content in the root, right? For dry root, you want 40 to 60%, okay? Alcohol, and for seed you want 60 to 70%. And then it also tells you the adult dosages. And I will also post someone did Q&A on my Instagram today, and they asked about children, herbs for children. And there's a couple of rules you can follow. There's actually lots of rules, but the couple that I learned in my apprenticeship were one by age and one by weight. So I'll post those as well, okay? Okay, yeah, so this kind of, so how do you know? So one of the things I wanted to cover is how do you know if you should use, okay, when people come on herb walks, I usually cover just a little herbal medicine 101 basics. And I want to do that today because I feel like it's important for tincturing, okay? Because they'll often say how much, or how should I use this plant, okay? So there's a couple ways that you decide. And I'm going to make it really simple, and I'm going to tell you to cheat a little because that's the best way, okay? So the overall basics is this. Plants have water-soluble and non-water-soluble components. We're all made up of a vast amount of water, okay? Plants too. And we need these non-water-soluble components because otherwise we just melt in the rain, right? And so they provide structure to our bodies and a variety of other things as well, okay? That's not their only use. But when you're looking to extract, if the medicinal components are water soluble, you're looking to extract water soluble components, you can use water as an extract. So a tea, a steam, a bath, a foot bath, those are all great methods of extracting those medicinal components, okay? If the components are not water soluble, then you want to use a solvent that is not water, okay? So alcohol, oil, vegetable glycerin, sometimes vinegar and honey, okay? Yeah, wines, there's all kinds of alcohol. Some people make their own moonshine or mead, okay? It's up to you how much you want to suffer. But oftentimes plant medicine is already a little bit nasty tasting anyways, so maybe that's fine. Yeah, and then the other side of the coin is because people often ask me, how do you know how you would prepare a particular plant? And it's kind of on just the physicality of it. Is this a leaf that's kind of like a tender material, and putting it in tea is going to break that cell wall and you'll just easily extract those things and, you know, steep for a couple of minutes and you've got what you need? Or is the material more hardy and it needs it needs just more work done to it to break those cell walls open and release what it needs, right? So if you've got roots and barks, then you might want to really macerate. Maybe you blend or you grind before you put it into the before you tincture, okay? Or maybe you want to do decoction, which is water soluble, right? It's water, but it's a long, slow simmer, so it's got time to break that material up, okay? Yeah, and then I don't want to segue too much, but if you're looking to extract minerals, you want to use vinegar. Vinegar is the best solvent for minerals. It's just really good at pulling that out, okay? And then you can use those vinegars. I mean, you can take a teaspoon or tablespoon here or there. You can use it in salad dressings or however you want to add it to your food, okay? Okay, so that's the Herbal Medicine 101. If you've got any questions about that, please do ask. Okay. Yeah, and then I'll just go through some of the alcohol that we have here. Okay, so like I said, I'm not an avid tincturer just because I generally tend to avoid alcohol, but there are some plants that just do, you know, they're like, for example, the resins. The resins don't really have water-soluble components at all, really, and so you need alcohol if you're going to use them medicinally, okay? So for some plants, and then some plants you choose like motherwort. Motherwort's water-soluble, but it also... I'm probably not supposed to swear, but like it's a bitter bitch, and it's terrible. Now I'll just take it in tea anyways, but most people, if you're gonna get them to take a medicine, they need it to go down as painlessly as possible, and a tincture is really quick. Okay, so if you need 40% or less alcohol, you can just buy a standard vodka at the store. Any kind. I've bought several different kinds. The cheapest brand is fine, okay? Unless you're really particular. I know that some people just want like organic ethanol, and in Canada we can't really get that unless you've got a really special license, okay? Yeah, and then if you need anything above 40%, then your other choice is to buy this 95% alcohol. Everclear, I think, is the most common that we have, but the lady who asked the question did post I think it was like a Polish or something, Polish kind. I can't remember the name. Anyhow, there might be a variety, but not every liquor store carries this, but you can call ahead and ask, do you have Everclear, okay? Most people can't drink this, right? I feel like this is for crazy young people or herbalists. Yeah, so this 95%, and if you need it to be like 70%, then you're just gonna measure a specific amount of water so that you can take it down to 70%, and you'll use that, okay? So one thing you'll need when you're tincturing is graduated cylinders, okay? You know, the ones from chemistry class, the long tallest cylinders, and they've got the metrics on the side, right? And those are cheap. You can get them. I got mine on Amazon. I think it was like $25 for 4 varying sizes, okay? They sell them for homeschool supplies, so those are easy access. Yeah, and then you'll also need a kitchen scale because you got to measure your weights. And what else? Coffee filters or cheesecloth to filter your menstruum. You'll need some jars. If you're using vinegar, you want to make sure that you don't let the metal lid contact the vinegar, because the vinegar will corrode and basically like leach that metal out, okay? What else? Yeah, I think that's what you need for equipment. I'll post the calculators. I'll post the links to Michael Moore's charts. I'll post a link to this book and the rules for calculating the children's stuff. What else do you guys need? I think that's it, really. I do have a couple other things here. I bought some rum. Like it said in the book, you can use mead, moonshine, wine, all kinds of alcohols. I bought this rum. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was for bitters, and I just ended up not using it. And then sometimes when I do flower essences, I use this brandy. It's not my favorite, and I feel like I'd like to go to vinegar, but of course vinegar doesn't preserve as long. So, yeah, okay. And then also I use this vegetable glycerin when I need it to be non-alcoholic. So this is good for if you happen to be alcoholic and you're avoiding alcohol, or for children, this is really sweet. Okay, so it helps with compliance, makes the medicine taste a little bit better, and it's just a little bit expensive. Like this one's 250 milliliters for $10. It's dripping a little bit. Okay, I think that's it about tincturing. If I missed anything or you have questions, please ask them and I'm happy to answer. Okay, that's it. See you guys.